Vessel work is not easy because it means that you, the avatar, have to take ownership of what you do with your body, what you put in your body, how you treat your body, and all of the above. Remember that as children, again, no matter what type of upbringing we had, I love backstories. I will always go into them when it's a one on one situation, but as a whole, I stick to avatars. We all have stuff. We've all been pulled out the dirt, the mud. If not, we've all been taught how to avoid the mud, the dirt. The point is that you yourself, as the avatar adult, have to figure out what you like out of what you've been taught. Not to replicate it. You can replicate it if it works, but it's not meant for you to simply replicate without investigating first. Energy for your body is meant to wake up certain parts of you that make you who you are. There are energies that we all share together, like happy, sad, communal energy, things of that nature, outrage, all that. That's a communal thing that we decide. But internally, yes, we have levels of rage, but before it gets to rage, we are the ones who protect the inner child. So, depending on how much of the conditioning from the outside world we allow to become our identity and wear as our own, then we start to project. When we say we're projecting onto others what we feel about ourselves, it means we're feeling a certain way about something we've been taught. And then when we see that thing that we know we've done so good at not being and pretending not to be and avoiding so well, that now that we see it, we feel we're supposed to judge it, which gives us this feeling inside of power and shame, right? Because they go together. In order to feel powerful, there's some level of shame that's attached to it because you're going to always have imposter syndrome of, why do I feel I get to get away with this? Why is it that people let me get away with this? Why is this something that people like happening to them to get away with, right? These are all levels of identity that are attached inside of one thing that we label as control, right? So if you know how to take charge of, not control of, take charge of your body and its functions, then you take back its autonomy, which is self-governing, right? The body itself does not actually need you. The heart breathes and the mind breathes, everything breathes. Don't forget that. Everything breathes in our body. Our whole body runs off of oxygen and exchange of carbon, all this stuff. You get it. Go do the science. The point is that the body only requires us to put nutrients in it. It is self-sustaining on its own, right? So all you have to do is know how to provide nutrients. Nutrients are not just dietary. It's also what do you consume as far as information and data, and how do you trust that data? Just trusting it because the mass agrees to it is not an answer. You understand that? It can be an answer because enough of us have went out and experimented and tried. Some of us have just sat there and agreed with it because everyone else is agreeing and we don't know what the truth is, which is when people feel bamboozled when the truth comes out or they feel the urge to fight it. That is something that's built into you because you allowed it. That's the only part that you have to take ownership of. The trauma, the abuse, everything else does not belong to you, and you can rebuke all those energies inside of you and say that was not a life of love. That was not something that I see as respectful or taught me anything. And if it did teach you something, ask yourself, why was I unable to receive that? Why was I so focused on fighting love that I couldn't receive love? Or why was it that I didn't feel like I was deserving of love, that my parents treated me like I couldn't have it unless I did something for them? These are all conditional things, right? We as the avatar have to take control back and say, that's what I want to take charge of, right? Control to me means you're going to stop right there, right? Charge means now that I stop them, all of this is still functioning back here. It ain't gonna stop. Somebody has to maintain that. So it can't be the outside environment that maintains it for you. You have to maintain that. That's why I say when you do vessel work, eating the most cleanest diet helps. If you work in Reiki, right? I always tell people, you can put other things in your body, but if you're going to do Reiki, which is an exchange of energy, it's best to have a super healthy vessel because you're taking on someone else's negative energy. It's not about, oh, they're a super vegan. I'm vegan, so I'm not putting anyone down, but it's not about eating a super diet. It's not about not eating flesh and all that stuff. That is a choice. But we're saying those things hold memories. And yes, vegetables are alive, but the memory is not as deep, at least we believe as humans, because I don't really know. for animals. It might have a longer legacy of memory. I'm not sure, but we do know we need nutrition and everyone requires it. So for me, there's no battle in that conversation. Just make sure you're getting the best of what you need and not process, not stuff that's garbage, because then you start to think better and feel better and your body works better. That's the functionality part. This emotional part is now that I feel better and understand that I can do what I want and live how I want, I don't care how people work out, that's up to you. Just make sure your body is flexible enough to hold its own body weight and strong enough that it can move and shift that body without too much resistance. That's the main thing of life that I learned. Make sure your hips don't stop moving, your arms keep moving, keep them strong. Do breathing exercises. Make sure you maintain a weight that your knees can handle. Make sure that you can maintain a diet that your body can handle. That's the answer. I don't care what anyone else says, that's the answer. Now that you've done that part, you get to the emotional part, the trauma work, the shadow work of why do I keep allowing myself to feel that I don't deserve to feel this way? I tell people you get to deserve to feel how you want to feel, but there is a level of polarity and duality I talk about. If you go too far into feeling like you deserve something, you become entitled. And if you go too far into feeling like you don't deserve it, you start losing yourself and you have no identity. So you have to learn how to ride the middle a little bit. You're going to divert into each one on its own and polarize between them, and it's going to be a yin-yang balance, whatever. Just know how to survive in both worlds without falling apart. That is the point of saying when you go into your shadow work and your dark work, when you come back out into the light work, which is everything else we see in front of everybody else, the avatars and the masking, know how to hold it together. Don't fall apart. Don't be brittle. Have your roots strong in your center and self, knowing how to maintain your health, right? Again, what we think and feel about things are just feelings. Do you actually believe in it? That's the part that matters the most. If you don't believe in it, why are you exerting energy on it? That's all I ask people. I've had conversations with people where they start replicating conversations I know that only an old grandpa could have had with his son, and that little baby was listening. And then this little baby comes to repeat it to me like I'm not older than him. I'm like, baby, the topic you're speaking on wasn't even relevant when you were born, so I know this came from your ancestors. Go clean up your space and come back to me when you're ready to be yourself. This is the disconnect that we all keep doing when it comes to vessel work. It doesn't matter if you want to go out and party, if you want to sleep around. I tell people vessel work, sex work is important too. If you have a clean, healthy mind and you understand that you're helping someone exchange their energy in a way that they need to express that energy without getting hurt or anything else, then yes, you are a healer to that modality. But again, don't get lost in the sauce of all the things that become very dark in that world too. That's why you have to take a very strong person to do sex work, because everybody can't do that. And that's why I was telling people, I'm not putting people down, but you got to understand, it's still nasty. I'm just saying, it's fun, but it's nasty. I love being nasty, but at the same time, it's just a word. Nasty don't mean you're bad. Nasty just means there's a lot of wet things and slippery things and smells and stuff that happen. It's nasty. Get over it. So what I say is, be healthy in all you do. Just don't go out there and start diluting it down and making yourself believe you don't deserve it because somebody else mistreated you or what you've been given has been a mistreated replication. It's not going to be easy to spot it, but when you learn how to decipher and have discernment about what you deserve and like, then you start understanding which path to take. It's never going to stop. The mayhem will never stop. This world, as long as you're on this physical earth, whatever it is meant to represent, is never going to stop coming at you. All you can do is learn how to protect yourself, be balanced in self, and know that you don't have to focus on everyone else's stress and anxieties. If they choose to bring it to you without any resolve, if they resolve it and they want to come talk to you, then yeah, you can let them into your world. I'm not saying cut people out, but you have to know how to balance it out, right? I hope that makes sense. Go drink some water. Love you.